Hey, it's Adler from FM1021 backstage at Summerfest Day VI. Says so right on that sheet. Sheets don't lie. They're important. And they're fancy because they use Roman numerals. Super Bowls, Summerfest backstages, the Romans, best people to use Roman numerals. Folks of the people, guys, hi, welcome back to Milwaukee.
Thank you.
You are one of the very few bands that have played both our Big Snow Show 12 back in December and then said, we'd like to see this place when it's warmer. And now it is. You achieved it. Anything look different around here? It's a different venue, I know.
Well, this looks kind of familiar, this like white cinder block. This is kind of like...
It's a popular look in Milwaukee. We go with cinder blocks because it's a safe look. And we want you to feel a little incarcerated. We don't want you to have too much freedom here. The album's almost a year old, which seems insane to me, at least. For you guys?
Yeah, I mean, it's...
Playing it?
The fact that Sit Next to Me's been on the radio for so long is really interesting, you know. It's been, I feel like it's been kicking around now for like 10 months maybe, and it just kind of keeps growing. Which is not typical, you know, for a song to be out for a year and actually take that long to catch on, you know. But I mean, I guess, you know, when you look at that song, it's kind of a sleeper in a sense. It's a ballad. It's not typical, especially for pop radio, let alone alternative. You know, for a song to have a long intro and to not have a vocal come in 3 seconds and to not be somewhat abrasive and somewhat annoying to catch people's attention. It's not Cardi B. It's not Lil Yachty. You know, it's
we tried so hard though.
Next record.
Yeah.
Maybe, right?
Yeah.
Well, that's the thing. You're three. All three albums are about 3 years apart, but this one, obviously, a little different, right?
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I would say that, you know, this record, we kind of brought in a lot of rhythmic influences that I would say that even Torches, I mean, if you listen to Life on the Nickel or call it what you want, there are little hat tips to hip hop. I mean, we all kind of grew up on that, but approached from a songwriter perspective. On this last record, we went much deeper, I would say, with that, and especially, you know, songs like Pay the Man, Doing It for the Money, and Loyal like Sid and Nancy. Those songs, you know, definitely come from like a hip hop, electronic background, and it was, you know, it was an interesting experiment because I really didn't want to come off as trying to be an MC.
Yeah.
But approaching that, we grew up on hip hop, so I mean, it's like, how would I approach this, you know, from my world, from a songwriter perspective, and it took a long time. I mean, we went back to the chalkboard like so many times. With Pay That Way, you know, we had so many different versions of the songs before we felt comfortable. Like, okay, this isn't trying to be something it's not. It's creating something new. You know, which is something that I think turns us on. You know, trying to push and create things that are new.
And like, what are you gonna do, or are you do anything with the other versions of the song? So, you know, a lot of bands are like, you know what, we could almost make a second album or a 2.0, or you just go, you know what, we're happy with the tracks we selected. You guys did all the work, correct? I mean, there was no real outside influence.
I mean, I don't know. Pay the Man starts out with a completely different first verse that we cut out in the mixing process. It had an extra 8 bars that we cut out because by the end of the song, it started to feel like it kind of taxed your ears a little too much. Like it didn't. The flow of it started to feel, even though we approached it in kind of a traditional 16-bar hip-hop, you know, phrasing, we cut the first 8 bars out of it. So that song starts out, like, it was really hard for me to walk away from because, you know, as a lyricist, the first line sets up the entire mood of the song. You know, so it's like, it's like the first line, it's like I've been combing through the streets for the truth, peaceable combat, feast of the youth. Yeah, I've been ducking, there's a cross on my head, never knew my name, always called myself proof. Oh yeah, I need a little something to cool my head off, need a little something because I've been coming for a truce, we'll never lose. And then and that's like where the song starts on the record version, cause I've been coming for a truce, we'll never lose. But it starts off, so it's, that was really hard to walk away from.
Something with that? I mean,
I've thought about that one in particular, putting that out as a full version just because I think it's a cool thing, you know, for just to have an alternate version out there. We also thought about playing it like that live, and just kind of surprising people. But I don't know, we haven't done anything yet. I mean, I think we're kind of thinking about what's next right now.
And at the same time, we're talking about kind of hip hop influence, everything. But you guys have been hammering near and dear to my heart, the Ramones, and you did it. Where did that spring from? And it's funny because it's kind of a short bridge between punk and hip hop sometimes, if you think about it. I mean, if you take a Beastie Boys, it's the same bridge.
Same spirit.
Yeah.
Same spirit. Yeah, definitely. I would say hip hop is the new punk in a lot of ways.
But where did doing that live and you guys do it fucking spot on?
Thanks, man. I'll tell you right now. Like when we were working on Lotus Eater, on the record, which is like definitely the most rock song on the record. We started off as like, I had this piece of gear that we had rented that's a very special Universal Audio 8-channel pre. That I think there's only 3 of them known pieces of gear in the world left, but it's basically what the Beach Boys use. It's like 8 channels. It's what the Beach Boys used on Pet Sounds, and I think Billy Corgan owns one of them. And we talked about buying it at one point, but it was like they wanted $150,000 for it, and we're just like, just for God, it's so special though. But we put drums through it, guitars, and everything through it, and we were listening to Blitzkrieg Bop. And I was basically like, yo, just go fuck around with that drum sound. Like, let's see if we can capture this and do a beat like that and do something to it. So it really spawned from Blitzkrieg Bop. It was kind of I guess the inspiration of Lotus Eater. And then like live,
you just kept it in your
we were like, you know what? Like why don't we try transitioning it from that into Blitzkrieg, and it kind of worked. It was very fluid, so.
When you played at the Eagles Ballroom back in December, it was like somebody here, I can't remember, it's like somebody tapped me, I don't know who I was with, and I go, fuck, and like, leave me alone. I wanted to be left alone for 2 minutes and 30 seconds. I go, I know what this is going to be, and I can't remember who I swiped away, but I felt like kind of a dick, because they're just like, fuck, give me.
That's so funny. I'm the same way it shows. I got in a fist fight with my old bass player because of that. When I was in high school, I was like, we were playing I was watching some band at a venue, and he kept hugging, we were playing later, and he kept tugging on my shoulder, and I was like enamored by this band, and I was like, dude, stop. I was just ignoring him, and then he needed to talk to me, and I was like, yo, get the fuck off of me. And then he punched me.
Shit happened.
It turned into this giant thing.
And here's a weird thing, I don't know if you've heard this about the Ramones, but I guess when they did Blitzkrieg Bop, when they first recorded it, on the first album, they were in some shitty part, they were in the Bowery somewhere, recording it, and because they didn't have enough money, they took 2 grand pianos that they rented, opened them up, and put the drum kit in the middle. And apparently when you hit the snare, they said it sounded like a fucking gunshot. Because it bounces between the wooden arcs. Open arcs
and bouncing around in the
I've read it once.
That's unbelievable.
No kidding. It's just this garage recording system that they had that would have been recorded. Who's the drummer? First drummer. Marky Joey.
Dave Grohl.
Who's Dave Grohl? If you don't know a drummer, always just say Dave Grohl. It's just like, that's what I heard they did. And it was like, if that's true, that's insane. And somebody else should try it and see if it is that loud.
So that's amazing. It's honestly like one of the greatest drum sounds ever, and that's kind of what we were trying to figure out. We're like, okay, is this over? Like, we'd read about it, and we're like, okay, some of these cymbals are overdubbed. Like, I'm not sure if they did 2 drum kits on top of each other. Like, we were trying to be like, how are the drums
overdubbed floor tom in there?
Overdubbed floor tom. Yeah, it's like it's so crisp, and
just you guys talking about it, this must have taken forever to actually agree on song, or did it not?
That track was pretty fast.
The track was super fast, and I mean, with that piece of gear that I'm just gonna always regret because somebody else ended up buying it.
My bad.
But I mean, and he won't
somebody's the last bidder on gear.
He won't let us use it.
It's a beautiful
credenza. He won't let any of us use it.
F5, refresh. Somebody outbid me. You're like, God damn it.
But it's like we put mics through. You just do anything through that. It just kind of sounded special. Right?
The end result is just a really incredible album. And I guess one last thing that I always wonder about is because so many people ask you like your sound. Is it more irritating having to explain to people that you don't feel like you need to have a sound versus just going, let's just tell them anything. Let's just make something up. Is it just? Are you sick of it? It's.
I just kind of
I
just kind of walk away now.
Yeah.
I don't know. What is sound? I don't know. It's like I feel like we live like things are not genre specific anymore.
Yeah.
And I think like the music now. I mean, it's going back to hip hop. It's like you listen to like Post Malone, for instance. I mean, that's something brand new. I've never heard anything like that. And it's amazing. And there's a lot of things where kids have grown up listening to Bob Dylan and listening to Dre and listening to like Giorgio Moroder, or like digging and then combining all of this stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe kids don't listen to Giorgio Moroder. I did.
No, I was gonna say that's a great dig, man.
But it's like so I think it's postmodern. It's postmodernism. Just anything goes, and that's kind of how we approach this record. Because at one point we had like one record that was more psychedelic, 60s guitar driven, and then one record that was more forward-thinking, modern hip-hop electronic. And we're gonna keep the world separate and do something really cohesive. But after kind of talking about it, like, you know what, like I love albums when you put it on, it takes you for a ride. I mean, like Sgt. Pepper being maybe like the first one ever that really did that, where you're just like, it's theatrical, and you're like, where the hell is this going next? And then
cut-offs and weird sounds and melding, a lot of editing. You're like
totally. And then since then you've got like Wero by Beck, or like I mean, I don't know, like I'm trying to think of who else does that really well, but it's like that's Blur does that really well. Park Life does that really well. It's just like, and so that's kind of how we approach this. Like, we're just gonna throw everything at it and see if we can make 160 BPM super like rock song based off the Ramones go into something like Hard in the Paint, or go into something like Loyal Like Sid and Nancy, which is like an 808 atonal like rhythm track basically. So it wasn't easy. We mixed the record 3 times, we mastered it 3 times, continuing just to try to get the flow of it right.
That's a lot of work. People are kind of unaware of how much work just getting a mastered one done is. You're like, oh, mastered. You're like,
I'm probably not going to live that much longer. That's
definitely.
That's the trade-off. It's like Peter Sellers, It's just like we've got a couple more years of really good perfectionistic work, and then we're just gonna have heart attacks and die.
It's gonna take the end years off your life. Well, the result's awesome. Lots of people in town again at Summerfest. Guys, thank you for coming back. So great.
Thanks for having us. Yeah.
Yeah, thanks for having us, man.